Hi everyone, today we're going to be looking at two big developments in the Democratic primary as of recently. So those two big developments are, number one, as you can see here in the Real Clear Politics average, Elizabeth Warren has now officially taken the lead against Joe Biden. Right now, it's a narrow lead, but she is leading 0.2%. This is a big headline news that there should be alarm bells ringing in the Biden campaign. And so Elizabeth Warren has done very well in this Democratic primary. Joe Biden seems to be falling. Same thing with Senator Bernie Sanders and Senator Kamala Harris. But so with Elizabeth Warren, she is now officially in the lead in the Real Clear Politics average of all of these polls. This is very big news in terms of the Democratic primary. It had always been, Sanders and Warren who had kind of been trading it out between pretty much. Let me just go down here. Pretty much since July, they had sort of been trading back and forth. Sometimes Sanders was in the lead, other times Warren was in the lead, and they kept sort of going back and forth until Warren passed him at 17.0 to his 16.8. Sanders held steady for a bit, in fact, even climbing a little bit. But then, ever since then, Elizabeth Warren has been on this rise, and since October, Sanders has sort of dropped out. Not dropped out, he's not going to drop out anytime soon. But Sanders has sort of dropped off, and Warren seems to be taking his votes. And now Elizabeth Warren has officially taken the lead against Senator Joe Biden, now officially in first place. This is very good news for the Warren campaign. It's always, mind you, it's better to be in first place on Iowa than in October, but still she's in a very good position in this Democratic primary. Consider that she started off at 5.9%, and she's been on this meteoric rise. First, O'Rourke, and first she passed Harris and everyone to come into third place, right? Then, Kamala Harris did go up after that debate performance, but then she's gone down. And then it was sort of her and Bernie, they both sort of rose sort of together, and then she's just been going boom in the last week or two. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see if she can continue this all the way. And I have a pretty big video coming out about looking at that Democratic primary, who's likely going to pull it out of the bag. But so as we can see, Biden hit a high of 41.4, and then ever since then it has just been pretty much stagnation since his dip in after that first debate. He's 26.4 now, in fact at 26.0 there, so pretty much the same between then. He had some highs and some lows, but he stayed the same, and since he announced, he has just been boom. He has fallen off a cliff right now. So, and Elizabeth Warren has now officially passed Joe Biden in the Real Clear Politics average. This is big news, and it's very important to take this poll seriously. And can I just say something quickly? All of these people, Wayne Messam, Sestak, Delaney, Bullock, Ryan, Williamson, Steyer, Gabbard, Bennett, and Castro, and Klobuchar, all of those people, they need to drop out right now. They do not have a chance in this race. They don't have a place in this race. They need to get out of the way so that the real top 8, and I would argue even Cory Booker, Beto O'Rourke, and you could even include Andrew Yang, should also drop out right now. That would leave Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg to then drop out, followed by Bernie Sanders, followed by Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden. So, so that is the first big news, Elizabeth Warren passing Joe Biden. And if we take a look at some of these polls, with the outlier of the Politico Morning Consult poll, Elizabeth Warren has taken the lead in all of the last few polls. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Now, the second big thing that we need to talk about. This is the thing. What has happened to Senator Kamala Harris? She has absolutely fallen off a cliff in recent days. I mean, this is just really quite insane to look at, to be completely honest. And so if we go down to some of these polls, Kamala Harris is this line here. And if we go ahead and look right over here, after that debate, right, she hit a high of 20%. That was very impressive, right? She started off at, 8%, right? So she started off, let's just see. First poll she had was at 9%. Then she sort of hovered in that low single digits, and then she went boom after she announced at 10%, 11%, 12%, and then she sort of slipped a bit after that announcement, staying at 8%, 7%, right? And then 7%, and then 8%, right? She's, there was some outliers like a poll at 5%, but then after that debate, she went boom again at 17, 11, 20, 13, 11, 15, 14, 15, 15, etc. And then ever since then, it's been a slow and steady decline from that mid double digits down to 11, 10, down into 9s, 8s, 7s over here, down into 6s, and then now into the low single digits at 3% in one poll in Quinnipiac. The Quinnipiac poll, actually, this same Quinnipiac poll had her, I believe, at a high of 20% in one poll. Where is it? But yeah, the Quinnipiac had her actually at a high of 20%. Maybe if I just do that, could help us find the poll itself. Kamala Harris, scrolling down. I'm pretty sure there was a poll that had her at 20%, and now that same polling firm has her at 3%. So that's definitely something that alarm bells should be ringing in the Kamala Harris campaign. She needs a breakout moment in this next debate, because right now it's really not looking very good for Senator Harris in this Democratic primary. She's only less than 2 points ahead of Andrew Yang, and Andrew Yang was the media laughing stock of this campaign. He has shown that he actually can compete, and it's interesting to see Kamala Harris, and this is even better illustrated by this graph. Right, so if we go ahead and put it on max, there we go. So she started before she announced at 6%, 5%. Not many people really knew who she was. And then after she announced on January, she went up. She hit a high of 12.3% in third place, within striking distance of Senator Sanders. And then since her announcement, she's sort of, she had been dipping, going from 12% down to a low of 7%, which is quite a sizable difference, 5% in the space of 6 months. And then after that debate, overnight, from the 29th, she was at 7.0, and then, oh wow, I didn't even know you could do that. But if this might be actually a good idea. If we go from here to here, look, she went 7%, and then she just went up, all the way up into that penultimate sort of. Guys, look at that. That's just like a massive spike there. And then she actually got into second place, 10 points behind Biden, which is pretty good for a senator from California. And then 15%, she went down and down and down and down to where she is right now at 4.8%. Ever since that debate, she was able to hold that momentum she had. She hit that high on June 29, and then she started dropping on July 12th. She was able to hold it for 1 or 2 weeks, which is not very good at all. About 2 weeks, right? So in order to have an Elizabeth Warren moment, you need to be able to sustain all of those positive things that are going for. You need to be able to sustain that momentum. You need to be able to sustain that positive press attention. You need to be able to sustain all of those things. And Kamala Harris was not effectively able to do that. And she right now is at 4.4%. And you can see originally she was sort of with Buttigieg in that tier, right? And then after that debate, she was catapulted into the Sanders-Warren tier. And then she was sort of in a tier of her own, and now she's sort of back down with Buttigieg. And now Buttigieg and Kamala Harris are at the same amount. So it's going to be interesting to see how this Democratic primary plays out. But that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. And again, the headline news: Elizabeth Warren has passed Joe Biden in the Real Clear Politics average. That is massive news. Thank you for watching this video, and good night.